What if I told you that jurors who acquitted one of the biggest names in hip-hop are now speaking out, revealing shocking details that the public never heard? What if I told you that new footage exists showing this music mogul scrambling days before his arrest, watching federal agents from his hotel window? And what if I told you that the person behind exposing all of this is his longtime rival, 50 Cent? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into Netflix's explosive new docuseries that has everyone talking. And trust me, this story has more twists than a Hollywood thriller. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear is absolutely wild. Netflix just dropped a 4-part docuseries called Sean Combs' The Reckoning. And let me tell you, it's causing absolute chaos. Produced by none other than Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, yes, that 50 Cent, this documentary is pulling back the curtain on one of the most dramatic fall from graces in entertainment history. But here's where it gets interesting. Before the docuseries even fully dropped, legal threats started flying. A cease and desist letter was fired off to Netflix faster than you can say "bad boy for life." Why? Because this documentary isn't holding anything back, and the revelations inside are absolutely explosive. We're talking juror interviews revealing why they voted the way they did. We're talking never-before-seen footage captured just days before an arrest. We're talking allegations from former artists, producers, and business partners that paint a disturbing picture. And at the center of it all, a bitter rivalry between two hip-hop titans that's been brewing for decades. So grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button, and let's break down the most shocking moments from this docuseries that has every entire internet buzzing. Let's start with perhaps the most jaw-dropping element of this entire series. Actual jurors from the trial speaking on camera about their decision-making process. And what they revealed is absolutely stunning. 2 jurors admitted that they saw the now infamous surveillance footage showing violent behavior toward his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway. One juror literally said on camera, "You can't beat that small girl like that the way he did." Let that sink in. They saw the violence, they acknowledged it was wrong, but here's the kicker. They still voted to acquit. Why? Because, as one juror explained, domestic violence wasn't actually one of the charges on the table. They were looking at racketeering and trafficking charges. And in their minds, the evidence of violence didn't directly prove those specific allegations. This is absolutely crucial to understanding how the legal system works versus how public opinion operates. But it gets even more complex. Another juror revealed something fascinating about the psychological dynamics at play. He said he was genuinely confused during the trial because they'd be shown evidence of violent behavior, and then immediately after, they'd see evidence of the couple going on romantic dinners and luxury trips together. He admitted he couldn't understand why someone wouldn't just leave that situation. This speaks to a massive gap in understanding about the psychology of abusive relationships, how power dynamics, financial control, and emotional manipulation create situations where leaving isn't as simple as outsiders think. The jurors' confusion highlights why education about these dynamics is so critical. There's another detail that's absolutely wild. Both jurors confirmed that during the trial, they noticed certain facial expressions and nods directed at them from the defendant's table. One described it as looks that seemed to say, "Can you believe they're saying this about me?" It got so noticeable that the judge actually had to intervene and threaten removal from the courtroom. Imagine that level of courtroom drama. Now, here's where this docuseries becomes absolutely unmissable. Remember I mentioned footage captured just before the arrest? This isn't old archival material. This is raw, unfiltered content that shows what was happening behind the scenes as the walls were closing in. In footage dated September 11th, 2024, literally one day after another serious lawsuit was filed, we see frantic damage control in action. The subject is on camera asking his team to dig up any old interviews where people spoke positively about their relationship with him. He calls it a media war. Think about that phrasing for a second. Not a legal battle, a media war. Then it gets even more intense. We see a phone call being made to Kalena Harper asking her to make a public statement in his defense. On the call, you can hear the frustration and anger boiling over. He refers to the accusations as coming from dozens of liars and questions how someone who was just featured on his recent album could suddenly be making these claims. But perhaps the most cinematic and unsettling moment, the camera follows him to a window in his Manhattan hotel, and then it zooms in to reveal what appears to be federal agents on a neighboring rooftop. Just imagine that scene, looking out your window and seeing the authorities watching you. It's like something straight out of a crime thriller, except this is real life. 6 days before the arrest, we see a heated conversation with his lawyer where he talks about needing to find someone who deals in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda. He compares his situation to taking 8 nuclear bombs straight to the head and tells his legal team they're not working together the right way and that we're losing. This footage is absolutely remarkable because it shows someone who built an empire watching it crumble in real time, and the panic is palpable. The docuseries doesn't stop with the footage. It brings forward multiple voices with disturbing allegations. Aubrey O'Dane from Danity Island claims she was fired from the group formed on his show for refusing to participate in certain activities. She reads actual emails on camera that are so explicit I can't even repeat them here, but they allegedly detail inappropriate requests and fantasies. Kirk Burroways, who co-founded Bad Boy Records, the very label that built this empire, makes allegations about both workplace abuse and witnessing inappropriate situations. He claims he was forced out of his 25% ownership stake and made to witness acts he never consented to seeing. Then there's producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who worked as recently as 2023 on an album. He alleges he was promised significant payment that never materialized and was exposed to inappropriate content as part of what he calls a grooming process. He even plays a voice note in the documentary where payment delays are blamed on circumstances. What makes these allegations so impactful is the variety of sources, former artists, business partners, producers, all painting a consistent pattern of alleged abuse of power over many years. Now, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The producer of this entire documentary is 50 Cent, who has been feuding with his subject for literally decades. This adds a whole extra layer to the story. The response team called it staggering that Netflix would give creative control to someone described as a longtime adversary with a personal vendetta. And honestly, they have a point. How objective can a documentary be when it's produced by someone who's been publicly trolling you for years? 50 Cent announced you wanted to make this documentary back in December 2023, and Netflix quickly acquired the rights. Some people see this as justice being served, using platform and resources to expose alleged wrongdoing. Others see it as potentially biased storytelling driven by personal animosity rather than pure journalism. The legal team claims the documentary uses footage that was commissioned for a different project entirely, calling it fundamentally unfair and illegal. But the director, Alex Stapleton, maintains everything was obtained legally with proper rights. This legal battle is still playing out as we speak. So, where does this leave us? Currently serving a 50-month sentence at a federal facility in New Jersey, the subject of this documentary is appealing and participating in prison programs to potentially reduce time. But this Netflix series has reignited the entire conversation and brought forward perspectives we've never heard before, particularly from those jurors. This story represents so much more than celebrity scandal. It's about power, accountability, the #MeToo movement's impact on industries beyond Hollywood, and how we reckon with the legacies of influential figures when allegations emerge. What do you think? Is this documentary an important piece of investigative journalism, or is it a biased hit piece from a longtime rival? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into stories like this, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because this saga is far from over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.